loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are here for the first time, thank you. Please subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so as to receive updates whenever I make a new post. And if you're an old subscriber, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be drafting a bodysuit or a swimsuit as most of us may know it, and I'll be working with my basic sewing tools, my scissors, tape, and all of that. I'll also be working with 2 pattern papers because I'll be drafting both the front and the back bodies together. So let's get into the video. So the first thing I'll do is mark my starting points. Yes, so we'll mark the starting points of our draft. Then I'll start with the shoulder. My shoulder is 8 inches and I'll be adding 1 inch to this 8 inches, making it 9 inches because the 1 inch is going to serve as my allowance. After which I'll mark my armhole measurement. My armhole measurement is 9 inches. So I'm marking 9 inches just as you see me doing. I'll also be marking my shoulder measurement on my armhole line so as to get a perfect straight line. So I'll connect these 2 lines together. That's from my shoulder to my armhole. I'll connect these 2 lines together. I'll also be connecting this line to the other part of my fabric, like just in a straight line. The way you see me doing it now is what I have done. So that is for my armhole line. The next measurement I'll be taking is my neckline. For my neckline, I'll be taking the width of my neckline as 3.5 inches and the depth I'll be working with 5 inches because I want to make use of a square neckline, so I'm working with 5 inches for my neck depth. I'll also be marking a neck depth of 1 inch and it's going to serve as the neck depth of my back bodice. I just want to put it on the front bodies. Next, I'll connect my shoulder slant, after which I'll get my armhole curve. So my shoulder is 9 inches, half of my shoulder is 4.5 inches and I'll come out by 0.5 inches and connect this line to my shoulder. My bust circumference is 9.75. So I'll mark 9.75 on my armhole line and connect the curve to meet my shoulder. And that curve is my curve for my front bodies. I'll also be marking the curve of my back bodies just in case, though I'm going to draft a new pattern entirely for the back. The next step I'll be taking is my shoulder to my nipple. My shoulder to my nipple is 11 inches. I'll be adding half an inch for shoulder allowance. And I'll also be marking my half length. My half length is 17 inches. So I'll connect these lines horizontally just so that you can see. So I have my bust point and my half length. The next measurement is my crotch depth. So my last tutorial I drafted a trouser. I'll drop the link in the description box so you can check it out and see how I got my crotch. My crotch here I'll be using 10.5 inches. I'll also be adding 3 inches allowance below my crotch depth. Since it's a bodysuit, it's going to have snap buttons, so I'll be adding 3 inches allowance for that. So onto the next step, I'll be marking my round measurement. So my round bust is 9.75. I'll add 1 inch allowance. I'll do the same on my waist. My waist is 8 inches. I'll add 1 inch allowance. I'll also be coming in my crotch depth by 1.5 inches. You can use 2 inches. So between 1.5 and 2 inches is okay for your snap buttons. Then I realized I forgot to mark something when I was taking my point measurements. So from my waist, I'll be marking 6 inches downwards. And this 6 inches is going to serve as where the curve of my bodysuit is going to start from. So I'll be marking 6 inches downwards. And for this particular measurement, you can use 5 inches, you can use 4 inches. It depends on what you want, depends on your preference. But I'll be working with 6 inches. After which I'll connect these lines horizontally. And I'll be marking my hip circumference on these 6 inches. So my hip circumference is 10.5 and of course I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance. Then I'll be connecting these points together with my ruler. And of course from my waist to my hip height, I prefer to use my free hand in order to perfectly get the curve of my hip. After which I'll connect this line to meet up with the 1.5 inches I had drafted on my crotch. So this is it for the front pattern. So we'll be moving on to the back pattern, and for the back pattern there are just going to be a few changes. So first of all, we're going to mark all our vertical measurements and horizontal measurements. So everything is going to be the same. So the only difference in our back pattern is going to be our armhole depth, our neckline, and also our crotch. And then lastly, there's going to be a slight difference on the curve connecting from the 6 inches below the waistline to the crotch line. So I'm just going to put down the same measurements everywhere. I'm done with those measurements. So the next thing is I'm going to go down my crotch depth by an extra 1 inch, after which I'll connect my hip measurements to meet up with the crotch depth. So for the front pattern, our curve came a bit inward. So for this back pattern, our curve is going to go a bit outward so it can accommodate our butt. I'm going to mark this point now to meet up with the crotch measurements. Next, I'm going to mark my armhole curve, connect it to meet with the curve like so, after which we'll cut our pattern papers. So there you have it, a tutorial on how to draft a bodysuit. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, share, drop a comment or two, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on your bell so as to get new updates whenever I make a new post. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.